thank you very much. Again, short on content, so this is a great way to discuss some stuff that people actually might be interested in. For some people who've had a chance to have some hands-on experience with it. Have you built anything for it yet, Fletch?
No,
just played?
Yeah.
That's all right, still valuable. So I guess we'll just chat. I've got some questions around experiences and that sort of stuff, but we're just really here to chat. So Kira looks keen to go. So what's your first impressions, Kira? You got to use it last week?
Before I start, I just want to say, just thank you, Bok, for that amazing demo. That kind of demo is so, like, to run Xcode on your face, to have apps going, and to run
manage the broadcast.
And manage the broadcast. That is amazing. So yeah, thank you, Bok, for that.
Not doing that again. That was too much.
Okay, so... okay, and I'm sure everyone in the audience has watched the reviews or read the reviews, and a lot of the reviews are... They're saying, like, it's amazing, but it's not there yet. And after using it, you really get that feeling. There are so many things that are so good, and as a technologist, you know that it is the state of the art, but still you're like, oh, the pass-through for me is very blurry and very desaturated, very watered out. And when I took it off, I was so thankful that my eyes were so much better in real life and I could see things properly. And I couldn't imagine living in this thing the way that reviewers have done, right? I couldn't get it off my face.
My eyes feel very naked right now. I could really just put it back on, yeah.
You'd want it back?
Could go back. Fletch, what are you?
I was amazed how easy it was to onboard. You know, the whole eye tracking and how quick that was. You know, I don't know if anyone's tried this out, but starts with, I think it's 6 or 8 dots around your track, then cranks up the brightness, which will shrink your pupil. I imagine that's the reason for it. Check it again, and then a third time with a much brighter screen. But the accuracy of the eye tracking was quite impressive. Heavy, and gets hot, surprisingly. But I found it wasn't as disorientating as I feared it would be.
Yeah, I found you do get used to it after a while. Like, I've had to reboot it a couple of times when I was trying to figure out why Xcode wouldn't connect to it, because Xcode. And when it turns off, like, you kind of had, holy crap, my eyes have gone blind sort of moment. You forget that it's a screen going there.
Yeah, putting on my glasses on and off give me more disorientation than putting goggles on.
But I do have to agree, it is quite heavy. I think I'm starting to get used to it after 2 weeks.
Even without the head strap on top?
Even without the head strap on top. So I think I am starting to get used to it, and I do like it in some specific situations. Like, it's better than typing like this on a screen that's down here. It's better when my wife insists that I be in bed with her, but she doesn't want me to have my laptop screen on.
That's not better.
It works. When you've got stuff, you got to do a demo at 9 a.m. the next morning, it's better. Saves the arguments. But yeah, you know, I think, like Kira said, there's a lot of potential there. It's definitely V1 hardware. Yeah, if it was lighter, I would buy one for myself, but not at that weight, I don't think.
Yeah, we can certainly imagine the non-pro without the screen in front, you know, maybe a little bit cheaper, save a bit of resolution, and make that a product that everyone will want. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's definitely some weight savings there. Get rid of the front screens, they're useless. I'm not sure how many people realize, but the actual screens that you look at on the inside are motorized, so they will adjust to the perfect position for your eyes. That adds weight. If you're going to go through and do a custom fitting for the light shield, maybe they should just do that and manufacture it specific to you, save some weight. Stuff like that.
And switching from person to person is a little bit, you know, tricky. You've got to retune it.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but, you know, it's just not that easy to share around.
No, it's definitely not easy to
pass it
share
to
around.
someone and it works immediately.
No. But I thought it was actually good that you could do that they thought of that, having the guest mode there, that you can switch it straight on. Because, yeah, Lord knows we wouldn't be able to have one without everybody wanting to get their photo taken doing this. It's weird.
When Baz put it on, the first thing he did was put up Guardians of the Galaxy, and seeing that in semi 3D was quite amazing.
So have either of you used other VR headsets, and how does they compare to Vision Pro?
I've used a few of these. I mean, the first one I used was Oculus DK2. When that was just like a prototype basically that they decided to sell. Back when Oculus was a tiny little company, right? And that made me want to throw up, right? The experience was so poor. I used it for about 5 minutes and went, no, it's not happening at all. And I was sick for about an hour. And with the Vision Pro, I wasn't that sick. So
just a little bit. That's a selling point.
Little bit nauseous. So there's this article that came out about 2 days ago talking about gender differences in nausea from VR headsets, and talking about how companies are spending billions on these things, but without doing a lot of research, particularly putting the blame onto Meta for not even trying to understand. And you would think that Apple probably has done the research but is not releasing anything on it. Certainly you can imagine a V2 might even get there if they can work on this a little bit more. But yeah, I found that very interesting. Crucially, it depends on the software as well. It depends on the experience. If you're moving around, that's going to be challenging for a lot of people.
Yeah, I used the Microsoft. I can't even think what that was.
The HoloLens.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was just so not engaging.
No.
To try to use it. Like, try it on. Yeah, okay. That's
Is that more of a
not very
VR thing,
So,
or is that a mixed reality
well,
thing?
no,
HoloLens is
it had
AR.
semi-transparent
Yeah.
screen kind
So you
of
can
thing.
see the
Oh.
full world,
Yeah.
but then you've got what actually projects in your vision is this tiny little window, this big.
Oh, like a Google Glass sort of thing. You just had that thing in the corner.
Yes.
It was full view,
Right, okay.
but just terrible contrast. Just not really great at all.
We can see this, and we can see that Apple wanted to do a full AR that is a window into the real world, but you can't do that very easily. There are physics problems there.
But I think they've done a very good job of the non-distortion,
Yeah.
which must be very hard to get right.
I think, having used it now, it's just the amount of effort that they've obviously put into making it feel as natural as they can must be pretty significant, because you don't notice it a lot of the time. You can, but it's not as, doesn't sound like as bad as the other ones that you've tried.
Oh no, the experience is stunning for that. Granted, it can be a bit blurry, the pass-through can be a bit blurry, but it doesn't feel like you're not in the real world. It's clear that they went for that, and have succeeded given the technology available. Yeah.
And when you do go full immersive, then you're not in the real world, because it doesn't feel like you're in the real world.
I was suffering more of the Blair Witch Project by seeing your head move
Yeah.
around on the screen than I was actually wearing it.
Yeah. I could see it in the corner of my eyes that even though I felt like I was standing perfectly still, it was still moving a bit, but my eyes were compensating for that, and everything was just
There
flat.
is some mode in there when you're on a plane to help keep it steady.
Oh, okay.
I did read something about that in one of the reviews, saying if you're using it on a plane, turn this mode on and you get less. Yeah.
I did see that and wondered what it was for.
So it might help to stop as much fine grain movement.
That could be helpful to know. Hopefully I never have to give a demo like that again, but I'll look into that next time. So, do either of you see much potential in the platform, either for spatial computing or for immersive applications? Like, what would you expect to see coming?
There's a bunch of stuff I'd like to be doing, but I can't yet because you don't get direct feed from the camera.
Yep.
So that's the limiting factor for me. I'd love to be using it in warehouses. There's all sorts of opportunities that it could be used. We'd love to play with it, but just so limiting for that reason. I understand why the reasons there, getting feed from the camera is a privacy issue and so many other things, but maybe we'll see something come in.
You can get the surface information of everything that's around there, but yeah, obviously no detail on the
Yeah,
surfaces
if I could
themselves.
start to do things with QR codes and identifying things, it could be really interesting.
Yep.
There might be ways to kind of do a little bit of hacking on that. I haven't had a chance to try it yet. I can't pry it out of my boss's hands for long enough to play with.
It sounds like your company's going the route of buying one for everybody, just so you can scan QR codes.
Well, funnily enough, like a lot of the equipment we use in the warehouse, you pay, what, $5,000 for a Zebra scanner thing that's able to be used in the freezer, so it's got a heated battery and things, but it's $5,000 and we have to buy them all day long for warehouse usage, so it's not that crazy.
Not sure how well Vision Pro would go in a freezer, but
True.
yeah. And Kira?
Just on the Zebra, that Vision Pro is probably less likely to be run over by a forklift as well.
Yes, but less robust when it happens.
Yeah, look, I can certainly see if there were camera access, you could do a lot. Like, you can imagine, and this has been talked about for a little while, but to do this at the quality that the Vision Pro lets you have, I mean, you can imagine a building site. If you're an architect and you're talking to the builders and you can go, okay, the pipes are meant to be here, what's happening here, the cables are going here, and you can visualize it at every stage of that build.
And those can be $1 million mistakes, so
Yeah,
if you can
yeah.
visualise them.
Yeah,
$3,000 headset doesn't seem that much.
it's nothing. But yes, crucially, you need that camera access to be able to do it. You need to recognize what the user sees to give the benefit. I mean, to do a augmented reality, mixed reality thing, but there's no way for the software to interact with that reality. You hope something will change. You hope it'll get better there.
Yeah, like all of the things that I would want out of it too. Like the only app idea I've got is for real world ad blocking, and that would require access to that as well. Walking down the street, see a billboard. Now it's a cat.
It would be the best app. I'm so keen.
99 cents. I'm all over it, but I need the camera access. WWDC this year is apparently all about AI, so maybe this will feed into that. Maybe they just don't quite have the processing power yet or the tools to be able to pass, 60 frames a second coming off the spatial cameras and stuff. Maybe. It's not that far. We'll see what happens.
I mean, certainly, and we've talked about entertainment. Yeah, and Apple doing things with the NBA. Yeah, that is going to be amazing. Like, anyone can picture that. Courtside seats. Would you pay $100 for that?
Stats
Yeah,
in the
done.
corner of your eye. Yeah.
Yep.
I would absolutely pay
Yeah.
for that to
No
watch the
doubt
Formula
about it.
One. Like
One seat costs
immersive, like
more
I'm in
than
the corner, like in a stand watching, get the camera feeds, multiple camera feeds up.
What about
That's
in the car next to the driver?
No, see now we've had this one too before, right? They already have the 3D cameras on top of the cars. So if you were streaming that into your Vision Pro and then the car has an accident, it would be the first case of PTSD from watching a sporting event. Maybe not the first case, but that gets into the weird territory, very weird territory.
Hey, it's a weird world. We've all seen it. We've all seen Bok wear this thing. Yeah, we're in that world right now.
You wear it around the office now?
No, I'm not that game. We have a separate area where we will do that, but I won't wear it at my desk because I know I'm just going to get questions.
Is it a personal device or a work device?
That's a work device. So do either of you have any plans to build anything for it?
Short term? No, not until I get a serious amount of time.
And it's actually available in Australia?
Well,
That
yeah, I'm
would
sure
help.
we can get enough of them in if we needed it, but yeah, lots of thoughts, no immediate plans.
Yeah?
I think the plan is to get Unreal Engine or get some kind of game engine and make something amazing in it. I think that is the opportunity for now. Having seen it, so there is a demo which a lot of people talked about where there's dinosaurs, there's a butterfly that lands on your finger. It is amazing. It is like very hard to explain. The visuals that it draws are stunning. It is amazing. Only limitation is probably the 3D engine, which Unreal would fix. yeah, I really think there is something in there, and obviously Apple is wanting to do spatial computing, but a games platform, I'm so keen for.
I think there might be a thing there too, is that everybody else is trying to do games, but Apple is a computer company, so they can do both. Well, that's what I think that's what they're trying for.
Yes.
And they may sell more if it's actually more real world utilities beyond gaming, but I guess
Some
we'll
people
see.
spend a lot of money on gaming computers, so
They do, absolutely, they do. We'll see how that goes through. Have you ever encountered any WTF moments when you've been using it so far? Like for me, when I first accidentally moved my mouse wheel into a virtual window because I was connected, that was like a holy shit moment.
you haven't spent enough time with it to dig in deep.
No?
I feel like, okay, so naturally I want to swipe windows like this. I want to move them around. You have to physically look at them, grab them, and then do the thing with them. And you've used it more, so it's something that I'm sure you get used to.
You do get used to it, but I think, it wasn't expected that it only tracks your hands when you're pinching. If your hands aren't pinched, it's not looking at them at all, which I guess is good, bad. No, it's not really that intuitive the first time you do it. We had some grads doing it out today, and they all did the same thing. They just wanted to get up there and swipe it the same way, which is sure you can do. You've just got to get right up in there, like physically put your hand through the screen to do it. But I think it's been pretty good. Do you have any advice for anybody that's thinking about getting one or thinking about building stuff for it? Things to think about?
I think one of the things is the audience to start with. If you're going to build anything for it at the moment, the audience is probably extremely limited, so it's not really it's more of a passion than a...
There's no money in it, you're saying?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there's no money in the App Store anyway, so... as sad as it is.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I feel like, how do you give business advice to someone wanting to make an app? These people have money.
Advice.
We know that they have money, right? Look, I love the idea of making random fun things for it, but that's kind of incompatible with paying $6,000 for a device. Look, I think, going back to Unreal Engine, it's free. Have fun, muck around with it. I think doing iOS to do something different is really fun. If you're doing iOS in your day job, do some Unreal Engine for fun, right? Instead of doing more iOS. I think that's the advice I would give someone. Just, muck around with something different. And that skill will help.
Cool. We've still got plenty of time. So if the audience, does anybody in the audience have any questions they want to ask about the device in general, not just about building for it?
It's still going to be online.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's always online.
Oh,
But you can just tell your question to Pat and he can...
you can talk.
I've got has there been a successful app right now? Like something that took off?
Define successful.
Well, you know how, wasn't there like what were the first iPhone apps that
The
made a
beer.
Like
bunch?
the beer app.
The beer.
Yeah, like the beer app. What's the beer app?
Jordan tells me the DJ app's fantastic.
Okay.
That costs money and I haven't put a credit card on it.
I keep hearing about the television app.
Yes.
The Apple TV app is pretty cool.
No,
there's-
there's an app called television.
Oh, yeah?
Which virtual televisions?
So you pop a retro television set
Ah, yeah.
somewhere in your space and you can watch that television. I think it's kooky and fun, like which we need more of. Yeah.
There's definitely some cool stuff there. My favorite at the moment is the Voyager app. Can't remember the full name of it, where it paints a 3D disc of an airport, and it uses the live air traffic data to render 3D planes moving in and out of it. And when I found it last Friday, I just sat there for like an hour watching it. It was Friday afternoon, had a beer, it was just relaxing.
Can't find one for trains.
But no, there you go. There's an app idea.
There you go, done.
Just got to get the 3D models for it.
No,
But I think as an entertainment device is probably where it's going to be in the short term. There's something good about lying on your back and watching TV on the ceiling. It's interesting. Alex?
Is there any like way to start learning about like 3D apps or like 3D interfaces for apps, like I don't know, in different planes, like you could have an interface in different planes, and so instead of a flat, just one face. And if you know about any platform that is doing something like that, what will be your recommendations to learn about it?
Just use an iPhone, iPad. The same tools that you use for visionOS is Reality Kit. It's available for iOS. That's probably where they've been testing it for the last several years, to be fair. Obviously it looks a bit weird, rendered flat than it would on the device, but it's all the same technology.
Thanks.
But yeah, the thought of more of a three-dimensional interface is an interesting idea. Everything seems so far very single-planed.
Yeah, for spatial computing, they've definitely ported our existing computing model, probably for familiarity more than anything, into like rendered 2D windows of the world. What does a 3D UI look like? Good question.
And it is amazing how similar to Apple TV it is with the the selection areas, and there's obviously big crossovers between the two platforms.
One of the killer apps that we did have a while back, I think it was called Tilt Brush, which was like a 3D painting app, right? So you could say, this 3D space is my canvas and I'm going to paint, and you could walk around your artwork. So there have been some amazing artworks done in that kind of thing.
I have tested something that does that, and it's surprisingly difficult.
Oh yeah, it's a challenge.
Because I'm looking at you, I was just trying to draw text, right? But I kept bringing my hand closer and closer, so it just kept like it was on a slant.
Yeah, I think all those optimizations about hand movements are very much, been done by Apple about finger movements, not really about fine-grained tracking your hands.
Yep.
Although, how easily does the keyboard work, virtual keyboard? I haven't tried that.
How easy does
How easy is it to use the virtual keyboard?
you're still looking and pinching, or you're doing this, trying to pinch, like poke through the keyboard. It's not good. That's probably why they've got the universal control there, which works incredibly well. And then, it supports the full Bluetooth stack, so I'm sure you could just connect a Bluetooth keyboard or mouse if you wanted.
Can you record what's on the screen, or only if you've got it hooked up to something?
No, there's same as iOS, there's a record thing in Control Center. You can
I think
record
there
it.
was a bit of talk about that in the App Store videos, that some people were able to get some very early real videos rather than just simulator videos. And there was questions about how did you get that.
You don't talk about that. But one thing I didn't talk about is I did demo, is the capturing the spatial videos or the spatial photos. That's actually really cool. Watching them back, like it does feel like you're sitting in the space where you took the video, watching it again. It's so weird.
One thing that I'm not sure if you mentioned it at the start was the focus. Like it focuses a particular area that's more high resolution. I think that was kind of more noticeable when you're watching it on the projector.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Because you try to look at the blurry bit and it focuses on it. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just curious how that, if you recorded the screen, how that ends up looking like. What's
The same.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you push both buttons to take a screenshot.
Yeah.
So all of the screenshots that I've had, you can easily see that. For some reason, it doesn't do it at all with the iPad apps in compatibility mode. It just renders those flat. But for the native apps, it does do the focal rendering bits.